up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance. Brio, brio, ya. Brio, brio, ya. Brio, brio, ya. Brio, brio, ya.
Yeah! You like that new intro song? Yeah, I threw that one together just now. As promised, I reached out to Mars, the band, who owned the song Pump Up the Volume. They never responded to me, Mars. They haven't posted on their Facebook since like 2012. So I said, you know what? I'm just gonna use their song in my intro music, and I paid $2. It cost $1.99, but you can pay whatever you want on this website. So I paid the full. I donated a cent to this website because I was so grateful to be able to use Pump Up the Volume. Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance. For episode 22 of Laser Show. Yeah, my voice is a little shot. Yeah, I've been very, very sick. But I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait for my voice to heal. I had to record this episode because I'm about to hit the road again. And I can't be behind on episodes. I know how much you folks love these episodes. It's the greatest podcast. It's an award-winning podcast. And it gets hundreds upon hundreds of listens. It garners them. So I couldn't keep you guys waiting anymore. And I am hitting the road again next week. Please come see me. I am able to see a lot of these ticket sales. And so I know each and every one of you are not buying tickets. And I hope some of you change your ways. Get with it. These shows are so sick. And so am I. Boy, have I been as sick as I've ever been in my life. I sound a lot better than I did even a couple days ago. I really thought I was going to die. It was hard to breathe. And I've been like really attracted to men and looking at pictures of men like with no clothes on and stuff. And I've been touching myself while I look at these just pictures of men. It's just been like so sick. Weird symptoms. But I'm on the up and up. I am on the up and up. So I'm not contagious anymore. I don't know. That's what they say. Is that true? Once you're only contagious for the incubation period, the first couple days. I don't know if that's true. I'm still keeping my distance. I did a show last night. Hey, did the big Dead Kevin Netflix as a joke comedy festival show last night. Sick as a dog. Oh, God. If anyone came to that show and got sick, yeah, my bad. I was really sick. But I wore a mask when I wasn't on stage, and I brought my own microphone. I was the only one to use my special microphone, the sick microphone. I did my best, but I couldn't miss the Dead Kevin show. And it was sick. Sold out. Sold out, bitch. Thank you to all who came. My voice sounds better now than it did during my goddamn set last night. Jeepers creepers have I been sick. And here's when I got sick. So I just got back from a quick little trip. A quick little trip. Where the fuck else? Up to Wisconsin. I am always in Wisconsin. I am constantly in Wisconsin. It's Wisconsin. Why am I always in Wisconsin? I'll tell you why. Because the comedy up there kind of fucking rips. Lord knows one of the best clubs in the country is Comedy on State in Madison. One of my favorite clubs, The Plus, is in Eau Claire. And now they have a brand new comedy festival called the Badgerland Comedy Festival. You know how these Wisconsinites, they love their badgers. They're nasty little badgers. They fuck them. They fuck them up there. But I wasn't supposed to go straight to Wisconsin, was I, folks? Was I? No. If you've been following closely to my tour poster, and I know you have, everyone's obsessed with it. This was supposed to be a quick little trip right in the smack dab in the middle of this tour that's been so fun and going so damn well. I was supposed to go and do a show in Des Moines, Iowa, at the Funny Bone. One quick show at the Funny Bone in Des Moines, Iowa on a Wednesday night. Thursday night, off. Was unable to book a show on Thursday night. And then Friday and Saturday up in Wisconsin. Little rent-a-car, little road trip. That was the plan. And then guess the fuck what? 2 days before the Iowa show, so this is now Monday, the Funny Bone in Des Moines, Iowa reaches out to my agent very unceremoniously, and they say, well, we only have 48 tickets sold, so we're going to go ahead and cancel this show. This is 2 days before the show. I have my flight booked already. 2 days before the show. They canceled the show because there's only 48 tickets. That is a shit ton of tickets for a Wednesday night in Des Moines, the fuck, Iowa. Get off your high horse, Funny Bone Des Moines. Yeah, I'm calling you out. But then I checked the contract, and this is true of all Funny Bone. I never really looked that closely at it, or really, if I did notice, it didn't raise any alarms. But with all Funny Bone shows, they have a contract addendum that says if there's less than 100 tickets sold 2 days prior to the event, Funny Bone holds the right to cancel the show with no financial obligation to the performer. And that makes sense if there's only a handful of tickets sold. I have no problem with a show getting canceled if there's like 11 tickets sold. I would rather not do that show, to be honest. So that I would understand. But 48 fucking tickets on a Wednesday night? That's fucking incredible numbers. If you told me that I sold 48 tickets on a Wednesday night with 2 days to spare, by the by. So there's always walk-ups. There's always people who buy tickets like last minute. They don't know if they're going to be able to make it, and they wait to see how their schedule goes. Okay, I can go. So we're looking at probably 60 people who are going to come to this fucking show on a Wednesday night in fucking Iowa. And they canceled the goddamn show. And I was pretty pissed. And I'm also a bit concerned because I have, I think, like 5 Funny Bones coming up around the country. Because now I'm in with Funny Bone, folks. I did the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio last year. Regular listeners may remember it was my show that had the most people that's ever come out to see me at any show ever in my life. 206 people came out at my first ever Funny Bone show. And now the head guy at Funny Bone is like, "You're right, you're in with Funny Bone, dude. I'm going to get you a bunch of new Funny Bone shows." And I'm like, "Thanks, brother." And, but the individual clubs can use their discretion if they want to cancel a show with 2 days to fucking spare. So I have no problem with the head of Funny Bone. I do have a problem with the Des Moines Funny Bone. Also, last year I had a show at Teehee's Comedy Club in Des Moines, and that's the club that canceled on me for no reason and replaced me with a karaoke night. What's the deal with Des Moines? I'm sure the people there are lovely. Lord knows 48 of them bought tickets. I'm sure they're great people. But your comedy clubs can kick rocks. Fuck that place. Doing another Funny Bone this coming week. Funny Bone in Cincinnati. Hey, I do well at Ohio Funny Bones so far. And I did well at the Funny Bone in St. Charles, Missouri. So, I don't know what Des Moines' problem is. A Wednesday night, they're like, it wouldn't make sense for us financially. The overhead for this event, it wouldn't make sense. If fucking like 50 people come out and buy food and drinks all night on a Wednesday night, you're not going to make money? Fuck off. Fuck that place. And I would have made bank too. I lost so much money. Even if it is 48 people. If no other people bought tickets. And I think there would have been. That was a door deal. I make 80% of the door after $200 in expenses. So, 48 people, $20 a ticket. That's $960. Minus $200 in expenses is $760. So I make 80% of that, which is like, I don't know, high 500s. $570 or $80 or something like that. That's a great chunk of change, plus a hotel. Plus a hotel. That's a great night. That's totally worth it. And then I go up to Wisconsin. And I think it would have been even more. Plus my merch sales. So they fucked me over pretty good. So I panicked and I desperately tried to find a new venue. Luckily, I have a Word doc called Tour Contacts, and it's all the people I've reached out to around the country that I've been in contact with that I could do a show, that own a venue or whatever. Or they say, maybe someday this date doesn't work, but be in touch in the future, and all these conversations and emails I have. I find one guy at Big Grove Brewing, Taylor. Could be a girl. I just know the name Taylor. Most of the Taylors I know in my life are girls, I suppose. But the first Taylor I ever knew was a guy. So for some reason, I imagine a guy. But it could very, statistically probably was a girl. But I sent an email and go, hey, my show at the Funny Bone just got canceled. I need backup. Any chance? I know it's 2 days in advance, but I had 48 fucking tickets sold at this place. Any chance you would want to just do a show in 2 days? And maybe we could get a good amount of those people out. And Taylor responds immediately and goes, absolutely, let's do it. What do you need from me? I was like, holy shit. So nice. So nice. I was like, let me just give me like a stage and a mic, and I'll find some other comics, and I'll make the event bright, and let's just do it. Taylor's like, great. I'll promote it. Let me know when you got the event bright up. I make the event bright, post it, put a video up. Big Grove Brewing came to the rescue. But alas, the next day, we only got 1 day to spare. And we only were able to sell 10 tickets. And thank you to those 10 people who bought tickets to the replacement show in Des Moines. But 10 tickets sold, plus I would have had to pay for a hotel, plus a hotel the next night because I didn't have a show the next night. Wouldn't have been worth it. Plus 2 extra days of a rental car. I would have lost money on that one. So I just said, screw it. I'm sure I'll come back to Des Moines someday. Not the fucking Funny Bone. Maybe Teehee's. Teehee's at least tried to reschedule me. But they did replace me with a goddamn karaoke night. What the fuck is going on in Des Moines? Anyway, so I just flew straight to Wisconsin. I just changed my flight. I just had to change my damn flight and just fly to Wisconsin for 2 days and then fly back is what I just did. And so I flew into Madison. And so the Badgerland Comedy Fest. Man, oh man. So the Badgerland Comedy Fest this is the inaugural year. It is such an honor to be, I was one of the headliners for the inaugural Badgerland Comedy Fest. And that makes me very proud and happy that I would be considered. And Mary Mack was another one. So I got to headline 2 shows. One show Friday, one show Saturday. And it takes place mostly in Janesville, Wisconsin. A town I had never heard of. But it's pretty poppin'. And it takes place in the surrounding towns of Janesville. So I flew into Madison, and I flew through Chicago. I had a layover in Chicago, a long-ass layover in O'Hare. Boy, did I have the grossest burrito I've ever had in my life. I was going to get some McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I eat quite a bit of McDonald's. Especially when I'm on the road, I just ooh, I'm on the road. I get to eat McDonald's every day. And I genuinely, I pretty much eat McDonald's every day. I just love it. I love it. And I only really love it when I'm going somewhere. I don't really eat McDonald's just like in my apartment. I don't think I've ever eaten McDonald's in my apartment. I eat a bunch of other shit. And I do every drug known to man. I do heroin every night in my apartment, but I would never eat McDonald's in here. Yuck. Meth, yum, yum, yum. Men, I kiss a lot of men, but I am not eating a McChicken in here. But anyway, I got this disgusting burrito that advertised, you gotta try our ketchupotle sauce. You gotta try this ketchupotle sauce. And it was just like spicy ketchup. And it completely ruined the burrito. I don't want fucking bunch of ketchup on my burrito. Really ruined it. Then I go and I sit at my gate for 3 hours. It was a very long layover. Because it was such a fucking last minute goddamn flight I had to book. I booked it the day before. And I'm waiting at my gate, and this girl, there are a few flights that board for a while before me. I'm watching flights board. At one point, this girl at a few gates away, maybe 2 gates away, is fucking wailing, crying, screaming, crying. She's crying like this. And then she's going, I was right here, though. I was right here. And they're not letting her on the plane. She just missed the boarding, and they can't let her on the plane. And in her defense, like, just let her on the plane. The plane was still there, and boarding had just closed. Just let her on the fucking plane. That's so annoying that they do that. Sorry, they closed the door. They've already adjusted if they open the door now, the cabin pressure will, everyone will, their heads will melt off. Everyone will get sucked out of the plane. Everyone's skin will get sucked off their bones if they open the door now. Just let her on the plane. But also, this girl, grown adult woman, don't cry like that. You fucking psychopath. Everyone was looking at her and then looking at each other, raising their eyebrows. Yikes. I completely understand missing your flight. It sucks so bad, and I completely understand crying. But who fucking cries like that for so long? I'm not joking. Like 20 minutes she was crying, and the people working there were just like, yeah, sorry. Who cries with like their full voice as an adult, like a toddler? Oh, made me tickled pink that she missed her flight. Fucking loser idiot. If that's how you handle a crisis, grow up, loser idiot. Anyway, then I get on my connecting flight from Chicago to Madison, which is like a really quick flight. And so it's one of those tiny little planes with 2 rows on each side. And I am in the very last row next to the biggest man who's ever lived in the whole world. I'm sitting next to the biggest man who's ever lived in the whole world. Hey, not to body shame, but if your rib flesh cascades over the armrest, if your armpit flesh is hanging over the armrest, go for a walk, buddy. Go for a walk every now and again, bud. At the very least, buy both of the seats. Don't make a sweet, young angel honey boy like me have to sit next to you. And I have to sit next to him, and so I am. He's in the window, I'm in the aisle, and I have to completely lean. The magnitude of his body is pushing me all the way into the aisle. And I am in the back, the very last row. So I am now in my body is now leaning into the flight attendant who is sitting. Her seat is like in the aisle at the very back of the plane. So I am now like in her lap. And every time she moves, which is a bunch of times, because she's a flight attendant and she has a bunch of stuff to do, and she's sitting down and she's getting up and she's making announcements and she's sitting down and she's doing this. And every time she's bumping into me because my whole torso is in the aisle, being pushed like a tectonic plate by this massive, massive fat ass. And every time she's going, "Oh, I'm sorry, hun. Oh, I'm sorry, hun." And I'm going, "Don't be sorry. I'm fucking leaning into the aisle. This guy." I hate the idea of someone having to buy 2 seats on a plane because they're so big. That makes me sad. I saw a woman on a plane once talking about that. She was a big woman. And she was like, "Yeah, I buy 2 seats because I'm fat." And she was talking to her friend. And her friend's like, No, you're not fat. But she was really fat. But it made me so sad. I'm like, that's so sad. You have to pay doubles because you're fat. But then I had to sit next to one of these people. And like, yeah, you should buy 2 seats. You should buy 2 seats. You're making it a very brutal flight for me. And I am in so much pain at this point. At this point, during this flight and currently recording this podcast, I have a broken toe. I have a herniated disc in my neck. And I have a bone spur in my collarbone, which is making my shoulder damn near impossible to lift my arm. It's getting worse. I had all unrelated injuries. Yeah, the toe. Yeah, maybe I tried to do that breakdancing move where you hold one foot in your hand and then you hop through like a figure 4 and then you hop through it with your other foot. Yeah, maybe I tried to do that and I landed straight down on my toe and I broke it in 2 places. Yeah, maybe I have a broken toe right now because of that. Sure. Herniated disc. Yeah, that's been since 2015. Yes. Bachelor party. Andrew Mativier dropped a woman on my head in a pool in Vegas. Neck's been fucked up since. Yeah. It's been pretty good lately, but then I re-aggravated it recently. Arm wrestling. Arm wrestling my friend Jordan the day after I broke my toe. This was a big Yosemite trip. Hey, did you guys see that fucking viral video I had? Check out my viral video. I did a fake fall, and I posted it as though it were a real fall. Obviously sarcastically. 4.5 million views on TikTok, and everyone's going, "This is fake." Yeah, it is. You're so smart. Oh, the people. I love the people. Anyway, I'm famous now. It's going to be on Fail Army. Fail Army reached out to me. They want to post it. That's my dream. My dream has come true. Anyway, then I got this fucking bone spur in my shoulder that I aggravated. Yeah, maybe I aggravated it throwing a pitch at a carnival trying to break a glass bottle with a baseball. Yeah. Maybe it's been bad for a year because of that. Yeah, and is it getting progressively worse? Yeah, because it's early arthritis. Yeah. Should I get it checked out? I should, but I'm broke. And now I'm sick. And I can't get an x-ray. I'm sick. So I'm in immense pain. And then sitting next to this big fat guy leaning over. I was so fucking miserable. I'm sure he's a great guy, though. I'm sure he's a fun guy and cool to be around otherwise. Not my favorite guy to sit next to on a flight. Anyway, then I get to Madison. First night headlining in Janesville. The Comedy Cabin in Janesville. New club in Janesville, Wisconsin. Who comes to this? A good amount of people came to this. Maybe 60 people or so. Really, really fun show. Very, very fun show. Really cool festival. This guy, Nathan, just put this festival together. He just figured out how to do a comedy festival, and talking to him about it, and he's like, dude, it's a lot of work, and man, don't I know it. You know, my friend Ahmed from Dead Kevin, his wife books the Netflix as a Joke festival. And that seems like a fucking nightmare to have to do. But she's a smart person. Never really could understand what that's like. Being a smart, organized type A. But he put this shit together. Man, he's learning. And it was fucking great. Super fun show. And who comes to my show in Janesville, Wisconsin, but Scott the Gay Medium? Avid listeners might remember Scott from episodes ago. Remember I was in Madison, and then I got this Uber, and the Uber pulled up, and the guy just goes, "Hey, are you a comedian?" And I was like, "Damn right, bitch, you know me? You might know me from some of the many, many things I've done and been on. Surely you know me from Last Call with Carson Daly. Maybe you know me from the Orville." But I said, "Yeah, you know me?" And he goes, "No, I'm a medium." I go, "Oh shit, you just knew that I was a comic in your mind?" And then he goes, Yeah. Who's your uncle who died?" And I had an uncle who died recently. Recently to me. It was a couple of years ago. But I miss him. And I was like, "Oh my God." And he goes, "Yeah, he's really proud of you. You're making him laugh." I was like, "What?" But I wasn't getting this. I was just getting an Uber for some homeless guy who I guess wasn't homeless. I don't know where he was going. I don't know. I really don't think he was going to his home. But I got him an Uber because he was creeping everyone out at this bar. Alls I do is good deeds. But I was like, "Dude, this isn't my Uber. I'm getting this Uber for this guy, but can I get your number? Because I miss my uncle. And if he ever says anything, sends you any messages, let me know." I exchanged numbers with him. We've been in contact ever since. He's like, "Dude, I'm coming to see you." And yeah, now he's a laser show listener. What up, Scott the Gay Medium? He's a big supporter. We love Scott the Gay Medium. So Scott came, and he brought like 11 friends. There was 12 people. He brought a damn fifth of the audience. He brought 20% of the crowd. And it was a straight door deal. So thank you, Scott. We love Scott. Scott said one of the wildest things of it. Scott's a wild man. Scott's out of his goddamn mind. Yeah, he's a medium. When there's a presence, if you're talking about someone who's passed, sometimes we were talking about my uncle or my friend Richard. If they're around, if their spirit is around, Scott will raise up his forearm and go. He'll raise up his forearm, almost like he's looking at a watch. And he'll go, "They're here. They're with us." And his forearm will be covered in goosebumps. No joke. It'll look like straight goose flesh. He might just have poison ivy. But it happened all night. Anytime we were talking about, he'd go, "Oh, they're here." And he'd lift his arm. Boop, like he's checking his fucking Apple Watch. Boop, and his arm would just be bristling with goose flesh. And Scott said this to me. Scott goes, "We're just talking, catching up before the show. Good to see you. How's everything?" And he goes, I've been transitioning animals. I've been transitioning big animals." And I go, "Scott, I have no idea what that is, brother. I've been transitioning big animals." I go, "Scott, what the hell are you talking about?" He goes, "Well, a little while ago, I was driving and I hit a deer, an adult deer. Hit him hard. And he was on the side of the road. He was not doing well. And my friends, they live out in the country. They're all country boys. Not Scott. Scott's a gay medium. But his country boy friends were like, "We're going to go home, get the guns. We're going to go shoot it, kill it, put it out of its misery." But Scott can feel this animal's soul. And he goes, "No need, brothers. No need." and he puts his hand on the deer's head, on his, I forget what gland. Scott, I'm sorry, I forget what gland, the perineal gland or something. If that was right, I'm the fucking man. He goes, I rub the deer's perineal gland, and I massage it. And I'm like, are you talking about like Powder? Like, remember that movie Powder where he transfers the deer's pain to another guy? I'm like, dude, you're like Powder. You're like gay Powder. He rubs the perineal gland, and he aids the deer's soul in leaving its body peacefully. So that's what he means. So that was his first animal that he transitioned. And now he's getting into transitioning animals. Scott then drove me out to Dale's house. He goes, we got to go to Dale's house. He drives me out to truly the middle of nowhere. And I trust Scott, but there was a part of me that was like, you fucking idiot. Of course this is how you die. There's no lights. We're in the middle of bumfuck Wisconsin. He goes, we got to go see Dale. We go see Dale. Collect some drugs from Dale, stuff like that. I had nothing to do with it. I'm just along for the ride. Because Scott brought 12 people, so I'm like, Scott, I'm at your whim, brother. We go see Dale. His friend Dale out in the middle of fucking nowhere. Dale's got an old-ass dog. Scott's like, yeah, she's gonna transition soon, probably next year. And Dale's like, don't say that! Don't say that, Scott! Scott's like, I'm just saying. And I'll be here. And I'll be here when she passes, and I will transition her. So Scott's been transitioning animals, if anyone's wondering what Scott's up to. Scott, thank you for your service. Thank you for transitioning these animals. Someone has to rub the perineum. You know? Can't be me every time. So that was night one. Wild night. Went to a few bars. Dude, bunch of comics I knew from just various cities. They had. Oh, Shauna was there. Y'all remember Shauna as she opened the show for me in Tulsa. The famous Tulsa night. She was the comic that opened that did not believe me that there was a goose. And I got to see Shauna and say, so as you can see, there was a goose. Got to see Shauna. Few other comics that I've seen in various places. It feels so good to go to. I don't know what the fuck Janesville is. And be like, oh my god, there's people here that I know. It feels so much better. And Janesville was great. The next night, Saturday night, I have a show in Mauston, which is an hour and a half from Janesville, which is pretty unusual for a comedy festival. Usually a comedy festival will be like a bunch of venues that are all pretty close to each other. Ideally, a lot of times they'll be walking distance to each other. And people can buy a festival pass if they're a comedy fan. And they can go from venue to venue, seeing all these shows. So a lot of times there'll be like a central hub. There'll be like a VIP tent if you want to buy a VIP pass and you can like drink in like a tent. Then there'll be like a comic hangout area usually. But Wisconsin's so damn spread out. My next show was an hour and a half away the next day. Luckily, what's in between Janesville and Mauston but the Wisconsin Dells, baby. Weirdly enough, I've wanted to go to the Wisconsin Dells for years. I honestly had no idea what they are. But they've always intrigued. I always thought the Wisconsin Dells were like a one huge theme park, water park, zoo. One giant business that you buy a ticket and you get in, and that's the Dells. That's not what it is at all. The Wisconsin Dells is a town called Wisconsin Dells. And it's this big touristy town. I've been told it's kind of like Branson, Missouri. Another place I would love to go. It's super family touristy. It's the water park capital of America. It's got several water parks, a zoo, bunch of like mini golf, escape rooms, big, arcades and restaurants and just fun events, ghost tours, stuff like that, flashy lights. Like friendly Vegas, Midwest Vegas. Not really like Vegas at all. But I went to this wildlife park. You know what the hell else am I going to? Well, Shauna had gone the day before and she recommended it. She said you get to pet a baby camel. So I'm like, well, what am I going to not pet a baby camel? So I went to this wildlife park. And it's true, you can pet a baby camel. You can feed camels. They give you, for $4, you can buy a box of carrots. And you can eat them if you want, but they're for the animals. And you can feed them to a bunch of the animals. They give you a list of animals that you can give them to. You can give them to the kangaroos, but the kangaroos wouldn't come near me. You can give them to the goats. You can give them to the camels. You can give them to the giraffes. Unfortunately, it was pouring rain. I did not know it was going to rain. I was just in my hoodie. I was just by myself at this, like, pretty much a petting zoo. Pretty much like a huge petting zoo. But then they had a big tiger. Very aggressive, active tiger. Usually these zoo, like the big cats at the zoo, they just kind of like, they look so sad. They pace around. And it was definitely a sad tiger, but it was like running around. Anytime someone new would walk by, it would like perk up and like run to like it wanted to attack. Maybe it was still sharpening its instincts. But yeah, pretty bummer life for that tiger. It's in a pretty small enclosure in Wisconsin, Dells, Wisconsin. The rhinoceros had a huge prairie that it wasn't doing shit. It was just standing in the corner shitting. Why does the rhinoceros get this huge prairie? And then the tiger has this, it's like the size of my apartment. And it's way more active. Felt kind of bad for the tiger. But anyway, then I went to see the baby camel. And its name was Thomas. And I pet the baby camel. It's really cute. You can pet the baby camel. You can't touch its face. And I was like, dude, I feel that, Thomas. I hate people touching my face. Don't touch my face or my hair. And as soon as I started petting Thomas, I had the worst, craziest allergies. I've come to the conclusion I think I might be allergic to baby camels. Because I was feeding the adult camels and I didn't have that. Must just be that baby camel dander. Must be that camel dander, that new camel dander. So I banged out some, an hour and a half at this petting zoo in the rain. And then I have my show that night in Boston. Sold out. Oops. Sold out. Sorry if you couldn't make it. It's sold out. This one actually sold out like months in advance. And it's not sold out because of me. They sell out like every time. Because they're just starting this comedy show in Boston, Wisconsin. And people come out to it. It's incredible. Really cool spot at Gravity Box Brewing. Shout out to Gravity Box Brewing, who gave me a swag bag, which included a drinking glass, some stickers, a couple koozies, and a very cool t-shirt, which I will be posting when I post this episode on Instagram. And they even knew my size. I am a medium, just like Scott. I am a gay medium in my shirt size. And it's a really cool shirt, really good material, very soft. Some of these shirts you get, these from whatever, a venue or whatever. They'll give you a shirt and it's just like that crappy quality shirt. This was like that good, like tri-blend cotton. Oh, really cool green shirt. Also, the Comedy Cabin in Janesville, not to be outdone, gave me a zip-up hoodie. I love zip-up hoodies. Feel free to bring me a zip-up hoodie, too, if you see me out on the road. I love zip-up hoodies and size medium t-shirts. So I do this show in Boston. Pretty good show. And there's only like 2 bars in Boston's a town of 4,000 people. And they all came to the show. Everyone in the town. And the show was pretty good. Then afterwards, we all went to the bar next door, which was called Randall's. And just got fucking housed at Randall's. And I had parked my car at Mostyn's. Outside of the venue, the Gravity Box. And I can't drive. I've been drinking all night. And I know my limits. I can admit when I'm like, yeah, I'll be honest, like, I can't drive. Can someone drive my car home? And so I was just asking. And I'm with a bunch of people that were at the show, people that booked the show, with a bunch of friends. Shauna came. Oh, Shauna was also on that show. A bunch of really good comics on that show. It was a fucking killer show. The crowd was pretty exhausted, honestly, by the time I got up there. There was like 6 comics on the show. And they were all just killing it. But anyway, so I'm going, hey man, I can't drive. And who took my keys and drove my car back to my hotel for me? But the mayor of Boston. The mayor of Boston had to drive my car home for my drunk ass and then get a ride back. It was only 1.5 miles. Pretty small town Boston is. And they put me up at a beautiful hotel called The Lodge. Ooh, taxidermy and everything. And then come back and then play darts and then proceeded to fucking whoop all of us in darts, the mayor. Certainly one of the coolest mayors I've ever met. And at some point I was playing darts. I come over to Shauna. Shauna was at the bar and she goes, oh, you missed it. The bartender, and this bartender, by the way, has huge titties. Honestly, when I was at the Gravity Box, I was in the back patio and I could see through the window of the bar next door and I saw this bartender with these huge titties. And I was like, damn, I want to go to that bar. And I did. And we go to the bar, have that whole night. There's that bartender with those huge titties. And she was pretty cool. She was like, you took a lot of business away from me tonight. I was like, yeah, but I also brought everybody. I also was saying the entire show, hey, we're going to Randall's, everybody. So I feel like I brought some of the business that I took away, I think. And anyway, so I go to Shauna. Shauna goes, oh, you missed it. The bartender just flashed a boob. I was like, what? She flashed one of her big titties? And there's still like 20 people at the bar. I was like, she just flashed a boob and I missed it? Damn it. Ugh, I was bummed. And then later on in the night, not 15, 20 minutes later, bartender comes around. People are starting to think about heading home, about closing time. And then Shauna really hooked it up. She said to the bartender, she goes, yeah, Ryan didn't get to see when you flashed your titty. I was like, yeah, I'm bummed. I heard you showed a boob. This bartender pulls her whole shirt down and shows both of her big titties. And I got to see both of her titties. The whole bar did. But she did it for me because Shauna stood up for me. And I got to see her titties. Big fake titties. Perky nips. I couldn't believe it. Just the bartender at this bar. That's how they do things in Boston. That's how they do shit in Boston. And that's how they should do shit everywhere. Everyone should be showing me their titties. Come on, I want to look at them. Come on. I want to look at them and I want to think about them. Come on. So shout out to that bartender. Thank you for showing me your big, huge titties. That's never happened to me at a bar before, and I certainly have never had the mayor of the town drive my car home. And then I flew home the next day, and I was unbelievably sick. Perhaps the sickest I've ever been. And last time I went to Wisconsin, which was late March, I came back home, and I was sick as fuck for like 2 weeks. Wisconsin, I love you, but fucking wash your hands. I'm getting deathly ill when I go to fucking Wisconsin. This is also the only state that had me come and perform in the thick of COVID. I think they still don't believe in germs out there. That's how President Garfield died, okay? They didn't really believe in germs back then, and they operated on him, his bullet wound, with just dirty tools, and he died. And he would have lived. The bullet wouldn't have killed him. This is, of course, 1881. They didn't know as much about germs as we know now. And I think that's how Wisconsin is. But they're a great comedy state. They gotta update the educational system out there. They gotta learn that there's germs. There is germs. And now, Jesus, dude, I've been so fucking sick. Sorry about my voice. But hitting the road again next week. Man, oh man. I'm sure I'm gonna have some tales. These shows, who fucking knows? One of these shows still has 0 tickets sold. There's no way that show's happening. One show I did a radio interview, or I did an interview this morning with a newspaper in Owensboro, Kentucky. They're going to help me promote the show. So that one hopefully will be pretty good. And I got some friends coming to that one, so that one hopefully will be okay. And then I'm doing a fucking Funny Bone. Who knows? Now that I know that they're down to cancel last minute. I don't know. This may be a weird stretch, but I think it'll be fun either way. I think hopefully I should have some new merch. My new merch has been shipped, I believe. Hopefully it'll get here in time. It's going to be sick. I'll post about it when it arrives. And yeah, come see me on the road. I'll be in Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia. I think, Lord knows, any of these could get canceled. But I hope not. Because it's been mostly pretty fun. This has been a very good tour. I gotta stop talking. I'm coughing up a storm. Thank you guys for listening to episode 22. And I'll see you back here for the Michael Jordan episode 23, coming at some point. All right. Take care.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah.